So the fear engine is this sort of symbolism with this ball, which is representative of our unconscious fears. On the album cover, there's this man in a suit. He also appears in the film of the same name. And he is accompanied on his journey by this ball, and this silver ball is representative of his unconscious fears. And so it's always ever present, it's hovering around him, and he doesn't really know that it's there. And there's a kind of revelation moment in the film where he becomes more aware that actually a lot of the choices he's made in his life as he looks back have been seemingly out of his control, and he comes to the realization that he's been living really in partnership with his unconscious mind. You know, we have our will, we direct our lives, we make our decisions based on our conscious awareness, and then we have this other bigger part of us, our unconscious shadow self, the dark side, which is an engine. This is the fear engine. This actually directs us, and we end up making choices in life that have the power of this engine sitting behind it, which we don't understand. And therefore, a lot of these choices seem like we're not making them. They're kind of, well, how did I get myself into this situation? Why do we keep making the same mistake? I mean, that's a classic feeling with a lot of people, and I've had that myself. And the fear engine is symbolic of this driver. I wish it was common knowledge. I feel like if only we were educated with the idea that we have to live with this partner, this uncomfortable relationship with our twin, the shadow self and the mind-made sense of self. This is an uncomfortable relationship that everybody has to live with. It's just that some people are more aware than others as to its existence. And I think they have an advantage, because the closer you understand it, the closer you come to respect it, and therefore try to nurture the relationship rather than avoid it, then you've got a better chance of happiness that way. And I suppose the reason that I have had such an obsession around this is because I feel like it not only affects our individual lives, but it starts to manifest at a group level. And that's where we start talking about the scourge of tribalism and identity politics and political correctness. And these, for me, are manifestations of the emergence at a group level of this fear engine. So we're at the whim of our instinctive fears, and in a way there's a battle going on. And in my mind, I feel it's a very clear delineation between the animal instincts driven by these unconscious fears. It's in the reptilian part of our brain, limbic system and all that. And that's one side of the camp. And the other side of the camp, which I feel that I'm trying to illuminate, is there's something which we might want to call higher levels of conscious awareness, where you've got our ability to use our PFC, the prefrontal cortex, and to actually conceptualize and understand how to rationalize our way out of conflict and problems is our best chance of survival in the future as we move into a world where we're getting, there's 7.5 billion people, and the rise of climate change and COVID and mass migrations and all these sort of pressures that are coming to bear. If we don't understand our own pathologies and mass psychologies, then we're not going to be able to cope as that pressure comes down to bear. But we do, I believe, have a very good chance of coping really well if we look inward and we start to understand and utilize and see the power of higher levels of conscious awareness as a tool to be able to survive in the future. You can't really blame people for having prejudice. Those are manifestations and symptomatic of a deeper problem of unawareness. So it's our lack of conscious awareness that creates prejudice and hatred and the desire to have a strong sense of the other in order to know who you are. These are all insecurities. They're all rooted in fear. And so if we can be more aware of the dynamics that are taking place in terms of how fear drives us, then we're going to have a much better idea about how to solve our problems individually and globally. That's why I have an obsession with this concept of the fear engine in my mind. That's how I framed it, as this metaphor. So that's an attempt to explain the meaning of this whole project.